Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever been in a situation, maybe a big business deal, maybe just, I don't know, planning a weekend trip, where someone hits you with a flat no, and you're just left thinking, wait, why?
Happens all the time.
Right. So today, we're diving into negotiation, specifically how to handle seller objections, looking at it through the lens of buying mobile home parks, using this really insightful guide. It's not just about the words, but getting behind the why of that no and finding ways to maybe turn it into a yes.
And what's so fascinating, I think, is seeing every objection not as like a roadblock, but almost like a window.
A window.
Yeah, a window into what the seller's really thinking, their fears, what they prioritize, maybe what they just don't understand yet. So our mission today is to give you the tools to see that, to understand those hidden motives.
And navigate those talks more confidently.
Exactly. Whether you're actually buying a park or honestly just using these ideas elsewhere in life, they're pretty universal principles.
Totally. So we'll pull out the key takeaways from this material so you walk away feeling, ready. It's amazing how much you learn about people in these deals. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
All right, first things first, the big one, money. You make an offer, you've done your homework, and bam, your offer is too low. Probably the most common thing you hear first.
Oh, absolutely. It's almost reflexive sometimes. And you have to ask, why is that the immediate response? Our source material suggests it's often not even fully thought through.
Like a defense mechanism?
Kind of. Maybe they have this inflated number in their head, perhaps something a broker mentioned offhand, non-binding. Or honestly, they might just be testing you.
Seeing if you'll flinch and raise the price right away.
Exactly. They're anchored to some number, maybe not even a realistic one given the park's actual state.
Okay, so you hear too low. What's the move then? How do you respond without just caving or getting defensive?
Well, the guy lays out 3 really smart strategies. First one is called isolate the gap.
Isolate the gap. Okay.
Yeah, instead of arguing, you lean in, you say something like, okay, I understand. Help me see, is the offer low compared to maybe something you've heard it's worth? Or is it low compared to what you personally need for, say, retirement?
Ah, so you're trying to figure out their benchmark.
Precisely. Where did that number come from?
Asking that turns it from like an argument into a joint problem-solving thing.
Yeah.
You're trying to understand their frame of reference.
That's clever. It's not just about the number, it's the story behind it. Okay, so you start isolating the gap. What's next?
Once you have a better sense of where they're coming from, their anchor point, then you move to strategy 2.
Reframe the value.
Reframe the value.
Yes, a lot of sellers, especially ones who've owned the park forever, they might just focus on the obvious stuff, like the current lot rent.
Sure, the monthly income.
Right. But your offer as a professional buyer is based on more. So you explain that. You say, look, many owners focus on that top line rent, but our offer reflects the park's true long-term value, meaning you're factoring in the real costs, deferred maintenance, vacancies, the money you'll have to spend on capital improvements. You can say, sometimes you see these high-sounding offers from less experienced buyers, right?
Yeah, happens all the time.
But often those offers shrink or just vanish when they actually do their due diligence.
Because they find all the problems.
Exactly. Our offer, on the other hand, is realistic. It's concrete. We've done the work, and we can actually close at this number. You're contrasting your solid offer with those, potentially flaky ones.
That's brilliant. You're showing the difference between maybe a pie-in-the-sky number and a real closable one. Educating them almost.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the third strategy? You mentioned it gets interesting.
Yeah, this one uses a neat acronym, ASMD. Acknowledge, simplify, magnify, divide. It's kind of a psychological approach.
ASMD. Okay, break that down.
So you acknowledge their point. I hear you. You simplify the issue. You magnify the underlying pain or desire. And then crucially, you divide.
Divide what?
For the offer too low objection, you use the divide part. You might say, I know the offer might seem low up front, but let's look at it another way. If you divide this number by all the hours you won't spend managing this place anymore, the stress that just disappears from your life, the capital you don't have to worry about pouring into repairs, what's that worth? Per month, per year.
Wow. That shifts the focus entirely?
Yeah.
From just the sale price to the value of their time and peace of mind.
Exactly. You're breaking down the big number into these smaller, more emotionally meaningful chunks of freedom, essentially, which is often what they really want.
That's powerful. Okay, moving on from the overall price. Another big one is, I want a full cash offer. Feels pretty final when they say that.
It can feel that way, yeah, but the why behind it isn't always straightforward. Sure, they might genuinely need all the cash now for another project, or maybe they just think seller financing sounds risky or complicated.
The perceived simplicity of cash.
Right. But often, that desire for simplicity just means they haven't really understood the upsides of other options, especially well-structured seller financing.
So seller financing can be a win-win, but they're hesitant. How do you counter that demand for all cash? The guide must have some ideas.
It does. 3 key approaches again. First, address the risk directly.
No.
Many sellers think they are taking the risk with seller financing, so you gently correct that. You say, that's a really common thought, totally understandable, but think about it. We're not asking you to take on new risk.
Okay.
You already own the collateral, the park itself. If, in the very unlikely case something went wrong, you'd simply get the park back.
And likely improved.
And it would probably be worth more because of the improvements we'd have already made. In reality, it's like a really well-secured investment for you. You flip the script on who holds the security.
That completely reframes risk. Makes sense. What about the financial angle beyond just security?
Good point.
Yeah.
That's the second strategy, and it's often a huge eye-opener. Focus on the tax burden.
Taxes. Always fun.
Well, maybe not fun, but critical. Many owners, especially long-term ones with lots of appreciation, they just don't realize the massive tax hit a lump sum cash payment can trigger.
Capital gains, right?
Exactly. So you pointed out, a lot of owners think they want all cash until they actually talk to their accountant.
True.
Getting that huge payment all in one year can push you into a way higher tax bracket. A big chunk goes straight to taxes, but with seller financing,
You spread it out.
you spread the income over several years, keep yourself in a lower tax bracket overall. You actually end up keeping a lot more of your own money.
For a big deal, this can mean hundreds of thousands of dollars difference. It's often a light bulb moment.
That's a massive aha. Turning their perceived benefit all cash now into a potential downside. Okay, what's the third angle for seller financing?
Third is present it as a passive income stream.
Passive income, okay.
Think about it. For most owners ready to sell, that park isn't just an asset, it's been a demanding job. Lots of headaches.
Definitely. Late night calls, repairs. Right. So you say, right now, your park is an investment, but it's also a full-time job. With seller financing, it stays a great investment, but it becomes completely passive.
How so?
You just get a check deposited every single month, guaranteed, often at a better interest rate than the bank would give you, and crucially, 0 headaches. No management, no repairs, no tenant calls.
You're selling the freedom.
It's an investment that pays you to enjoy your retirement. It perfectly frames the benefit for someone looking to step back.
Okay, so we've tackled the main money objections. But deals aren't just numbers. There's the human element. What about the classic emotional objection, I'm just not ready to sell?
Yes. This one's often deep. It's rarely about the offer itself. The why here is usually coming from somewhere else.
Like what?
Could be fear of change, fear of the unknown. It might be a really strong emotional attachment. Maybe they built the park or their parents did.
Their identity is tied up in it.
Exactly. Or sometimes they just honestly don't know what they'd do next. They haven't visualized life after selling. They need help seeing that path.
That makes total sense. It's deeply personal. So how do you even begin to address that kind of feeling? The guys must stress sensitivity here.
Absolutely. Step 1 is huge. Validate their feelings. Don't dismiss it.
How did that sound?
You start with empathy. I completely understand this isn't just, bricks and mortar or asphalt for you. It's part of your life, your family's story, maybe your legacy.
Acknowledging the history.
And that's exactly why we take this so seriously. We really respect what you've built here, the community you've nurtured. Showing that genuine respect is critical. It builds instant rapport. You see them as a person, not just a seller.
That empathy is key. So after you've validated, connected on that level, what's the next gentle step?
Then you try to uncover the motivation, gently probe why they're not ready.
Like asking direct questions.
Yeah, soft questions. Is it maybe not a question of if you'll sell, but more about when the time feels right? Or what would need to happen for you to feel ready? Is there one big thing holding you back? Maybe something with family or health, or just figuring out the next step?
Helping them articulate it.
Exactly. Often, just talking it through helps them clarify their own thoughts. And it helps you understand the real barrier, which might not be what you initially thought.
Okay, so you validate, then gently uncover. What's the final piece to help them move forward?
The final piece is connect to their future. Paint a picture of what's possible.
The positive side of selling.
Right. You could say something like, look, we're not here to push you at all. We want to help you start that next chapter whenever you're ready. Our goal is to provide a solution that lets you move on smoothly and focus on what's next for you.
Like,
Whether that's, finally taking that dream trip, spending more time with the grandkids, picking up that hobby you dropped years ago, or just enjoying some well-earned peace and quiet. You show them the freedom and opportunity waiting on the other side.
focusing on the gain, not just the loss. That's a great approach. Okay, what about a related one? The owner who says, well, I need to fix X, Y, and Z first, then I'll sell. Seems like stalling, but maybe not.
It often sounds like stalling, but it's usually quite genuine. The why behind it is typically a belief, a strong one, that if they just make the park perfect, they'll get a much higher price.
They want top dollar.
Right. So they're willing to sink more time, more money, more stress into reaching this sort of idealized version of the park. What they often don't factor in, though, is that a professional buyer, like you, is usually set up to handle those exact fixes much more efficiently.
We have crews, systems, capital.
Exactly. You can do it faster, often cheaper at scale, and without the emotional drain it puts on an owner who's already thinking about getting out.
That's a key point, the efficiency gap. So how does the guide suggest tackling that objection?
Two main strategies here. First, reframe the cost.
Reframe the cost, meaning the cost of the repairs.
Not just the repair cost, but the total cost to them. You say, that makes sense, wanting to fix things up, but let's consider something. Your time is incredibly valuable, right? And your energy, your peace of mind. You could spend the next 6 months, maybe a year, maybe longer, plus tens of thousands of dollars dealing with contractors, managing those repairs, handling tenant issues related to the work.
It's a huge undertaking.
Whereas we, as professional operators, have the teams and capital ready to go. We can tackle those projects efficiently, often in a fraction of the time it would take an individual owner. We actually factor our ability to do that efficiently into our offer. You're showing them the true cost, including their valuable time and sanity.
So you're not saying the repairs aren't needed, just that they don't necessarily need to be the ones doing them before the sale. What's the second strategy?
The second is to highlight the opportunity cost. What are they giving up by delaying?
How do you phrase that?
You might ask, okay, let's imagine you sell the park as is today. You get a fair price that reflects the current condition. What could you do with that freedom, that capital, starting tomorrow? Why spend another year, maybe 2, dealing with all these headaches and uncertainties when you could have a fair offer locked in right now and actually be retired or traveling or whatever it is you want to do next? It forces them to weigh the value of immediate freedom against that uncertain future gain.
It really is all about framing, isn't it? Presenting the trade-offs in a way that aligns with their deeper goals. Okay, shifting gears slightly. Let's talk trust and relationships. A big one for conscientious owners is, I'm worried about my tenants, about the community.
Oh, yeah. This is huge, and honestly, it's a mark of a good owner. They often feel a real responsibility for the people who've lived in their park for years, maybe decades.
He built that community.
Exactly. They're genuinely afraid that some new owner, maybe a big faceless company, will come in, hike rents through the roof, neglect the place, and just destroy what they built. It's a very valid, heartfelt concern.
Totally. And you have to handle that with real respect. So step one is obviously acknowledge and validate that feeling.
Absolutely. You start there. That concern does you a huge credit as an owner. Honestly, that sense of community is one of the things that attracts us to your park. We absolutely share your priority. The well-being of the residents is paramount for us, too.
Aligning yourself with their values.
Our goal isn't to disrupt, but to preserve and actually enhance the community. We want to build on the great foundation you've laid. This kind of validation builds trust immediately. It shows you're not just focused on the asset, but the people.
That's crucial. Okay, so you validated their concern. How do you then offer concrete reassurance? Words are nice, but they need more, right?
Definitely. That leads to the next step. Provide a clear plan. Vague promises aren't enough.
So get specific.
Yes. Explain what you intend to do. We have a clear plan, and we're happy to share the details. We intend to make significant investments to improve things for everyone. That might include upgrading the old water lines, paving the roads, maybe adding a new laundry facility, or fixing up the community space.
Tangible improvements.
And importantly, ensuring there's professional, responsive management on site. We're not here to flip it or change its character fundamentally. We're here to invest for the long term, take what you've built, and make it even better, more stable. Giving concrete examples makes your commitment feel real.
That detail provides comfort, especially to someone who's poured their life into the place. Okay, last objection type, rooted in caution. I need to do more research on your company.
And you know what? They absolutely should. This isn't an objection to overcome necessarily, but one to welcome.
Really? Welcome it.
Yeah, think about it. These owners, especially the good ones, probably get calls all the time from people who aren't serious, aren't qualified, maybe aren't even legitimate.
The tire kickers or worse.
Exactly. So them wanting to vet you is smart business. It shows they're careful. They need proof you're a real, professional, capable operation they can trust with their legacy. And they deserve that proof.
Okay, that's a good perspective. So how do you provide that proof effectively and build that final layer of trust? The guide likely has specific tactics.
2 key ways. First, be proactive. Proactively provide information. Don't wait for them to ask for every little thing.
Make it easy for them.
Totally. Say, that's a smart move, and we absolutely encourage it. We operate with full transparency. We're an open book. Here's a list of references, other park owners we've bought from. Please call them.
Offer case studies.
Here are case studies of parks we've acquired and improved. Here's contact info for our lender, maybe even local officials we've worked with. We want you to do your homework and feel 100% comfortable. You hand them the evidence proactively.
That confidence and transparency must be very reassuring. What's the second part?
The second part is build social proof. Leverage your history.
How does that sound?
You can state facts. Look, our track record really speaks for itself. We've successfully acquired and improved, say, X number of communities across Y stakes. Our process is straightforward and transparent.
Yeah.
Then invite specific questions. We know you need to feel confident. What specific questions do you have for me right now? What information would help you feel completely comfortable moving forward? This shows you have nothing to hide, and you value their peace of mind enough to address any lingering doubt directly.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here? We've gone through money issues, emotional hurdles, trust concerns.
Yeah, whole range.
What does it all boil down to for you, our listener? It seems clear that hearing no isn't the end of the conversation. Not at all.
Not even close. It's actually the start of a deeper conversation. Every objection, every no is really a clue. It's a signal about the seller's true motivations, their fears, maybe just what they haven't considered yet.
It's an opportunity to understand.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, learning how to respond strategically, not just reacting, but really listening and tailoring your response, that's what turns those obstacles into open doors.
It's about empathy, listening, and offering solutions that fit their needs, not just yours.
Precisely. It's moving beyond just pushing your agenda. And having that skill, that understanding, it gives you so much more confidence and, frankly, a much better shot at success in any kind of negotiation.
Right. You're not just fighting an objection, you're building a bridge. You're showing you actually hear them. This deep dive really highlights that the magic isn't just in what you say, but in understanding why they're saying it.
Well said.
So, for you, our listener, here's something to think about after we wrap up. In your own life, your own conversations, how often do you stop and really listen for the why behind someone's no, whether it's at work or even at home?
Good question.
And what interesting yeses, what unexpected agreements or solutions might be hiding just beneath the surface if you started applying some of these ideas, really listening, validating, and reframing in your everyday interactions?